Could you use some extra cash? Tune in to McLaren Arts Center TV Bingo on Rogers TV for your chance to win. We have $2,500 in prizes up for grabs every Tuesday night. 5 ways to play, 20 chances each night, but only one way to win. Tune in to McLaren Arts Center TV Bingo, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. only on Rogers TV.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy. Or you could use the Arrive Alive smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
This is Rogers TV. Barry.
Rev.Jessie Brandon, and welcome to Epiphanies. I'm a life cycle celebrant and a metaphysical minister, and I have the opportunity to bring two things that I treasure together: people and books. So grab your tea, get into your comfy chair, and let's see where we go today. We're looking at Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. And he says that you can transform your business from a cash-eating monster to a money-making machine. And one of his quotes on the back is, "Quit being a slave to your own business and start making some serious money. Follow Mike's counterintuitive advice and put profits first." So with me today is my guest, Dana Pharant, back again. Love to have you.
My pleasure, Jessie.
So, combining her 25 years in the wellness and stress management fields, along with her experience of building a 7-figure business, Dana is the leading authority at teaching healthy habits, mindset strategies, and authentic presence so they can tap into their inner power and be top performers in their field. And I know it works because I'm not just the hair club president. So, Dana, tell me all about this book. Why did you choose this?
I think for me, the biggest thing is that his system is very simple, it's practical, and it aligns so well with what I have been teaching people for a long time, in that, when you make incremental changes, you can make something a really big change in the long run. The other thing is that, for years I have said to people, I say, you've got to put the tax money aside, put it into a separate bank account so that when it comes time to pay your taxes, you're not left with this oh my God moment of, I now owe that. Mm-hmm. And he takes this all, way further, in that he says, take the profit out of your business first, put that aside in a separate bank account. And what that does is just a very simple shift, but immediately your business becomes profitable. And that's a huge mindset shift, because for so many business owners, they're struggling with the, how do I get profitable, and I need to plow the money back into the business to grow it and all these things. And when we don't focus on, actually making it profitable, then in the long run, what are we working for, right? Mm-hmm. We're working really hard in our business to not see any rewards. Well, that's no fun.
Yeah.
And then, of course, from my own story, I've had a 7-figure business. Mm-hmm. It went bankrupt. I turned it around, got it profitable again, and then sold it. Well, had I been doing this system with that business, I would not have gone bankrupt. So that's another really big factor for me.
Yeah. Right. So how did this book come to you?
I started in Audible this year, and this was one of the books that I stumbled across, and I was like, I really like this, and it's had such a huge impact. I've implemented the tools. Like I said, the system is it's simplistic, but it's also something that's like over time gets better and better. So I started implementing it right away and have seen the difference in my coaching business. I've seen a difference in how I'm handling the money, how I'm thinking about it. And I thought, you know, this is such an important topic. I know you bring in a lot of feel-good books, and I'm all about the feel-good books, but sometimes we need practical as well. We need,
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because honestly, money is one of those things that, you know, I talk about the money thing a lot with people, the mindset around money. And if we don't actually handle the practical side of it, then we're not really getting ahead. So you can sit all day long and say, I am at ease with my money, but we still have to actually handle the money. Absolutely. And make it work for us.
Yep.
So I love the way he's just put it together in something that's just so easy, simple, effective, and works if you work it.
Yeah, true. Well, sorry, two of the things that you do that I love is you refer to money is energy. So it's how you work with it. Just think of it as the energy that it is, and then it appeals to, you know, the woo-woo folk like me.
Yes.
And oh, darn, I forgot the other thing. Keep talking.
Keep
and it'll
talking.
Come back.
I think you know, a lot of it is that, you know, we get really caught up around money and making ourselves wrong about how we're handling it, how we don't know how to handle it. And, you know, sex and money are the two taboo subjects where we are supposed to just magically know all about them, magically know how to make them work, but don't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And that's crazy making.
It is.
Everything else we're allowed to ask people about and come up and say, I don't really know how this works. Like, Jessie, how did you end up getting this TV show and how did that work, right? Like, there's no shame in doing that.
Right.
But when it comes to money, we seem to have all this huge amounts of shame, and so we don't ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. I just actually went to see someone yesterday about the sex thing. No, but I mean, about a woman's body.
Yes.
And I was amazed at what she told me that I coulda, shoulda, woulda been doing since I was young, that
Right.
would have changed everything now. And it's not just exercise, it's a mindset. And it's all in the way I breathe. So who knew? And that's the thing. We don't talk about the things that are really important. And as you say, sex and money. And so there's so much to be learned from that. Now, is there something in there that you can read and just kind of give us a snippet of?
You know, I knew you were going to ask me that. And you know, I hate quotes. But I would say, you know, really, like what I have said to people, because I love, you know, transferring my knowledge to other people, but I've said the first place to start is to get yourself 2 extra accounts. So 2 savings accounts, which will cost you nothing, because most banks will give you those interest or, you know, no fees, right? And you start setting aside 2 things, one for taxes and one for profit. And I love that he talks about starting small. So 1%. Everybody can take 1% and move it aside. And what happens is that we'll adjust. And this is what happens, right? If we have an extra bill all of a sudden that we've got to, you know, account for, we adjust everything else accordingly. And so if we start this process of putting 1% aside for profit, we will adjust the rest of our business, or we'll increase the income that we need. We'll do something. And this is that nudging the behavior along. Now, he goes into a lot more depth and a lot more bank accounts, but even if you start there, that will make a massive, massive difference for you.
True.
And I love that.
Now, would one be able to apply this to just personal life?
Absolutely.
By doing it almost exactly the same thing?
Yeah, you can take, and I would recommend for people to look at it. You know, he talks a lot about business, but the idea of, you know, jars has been around for a long time. But we don't handle a lot of cash anymore. So now it's a matter of having different bank accounts. And I don't know about you, but my bank will let me change the name of the bank accounts. So I have a bank account for my travel fund. And so I put a set amount in there every month. And then, you know, once a year, I've got more than enough money to go on a vacation. And it's low stress. You can do the same thing if you want to save up for whatever big thing you have, you just set up a separate account, label it as that, and decide how much comes off the top. So if you have a job, how much comes off the top? And you just put those in those accounts. Now you do have to get yourself into the discipline of not touching them. That's probably the hardest thing for a non-self-employed person. As a self-employed person, we tend to have a little more discipline of like, that needs to go there and it can't be touched.
Yeah, see, I have boxes at home.
Right.
And the one that I'm having grow is called Love Grows Here.
Love it.
And but unfortunately, I know exactly where that box is when I need that little bit of cash. So
yeah, and one of the things that I like that he says is that if you take and set up you know, a bank account at a different bank, and once a month send a transfer into there, and you have no access through a debit card at that bank account. So cut up the bank account so that you actually have to make an effort to get that money out.
Right.
And even set it up so that it has like a one-day delay. There's lots of things that we can do to kind of override our natural inclination to want to just grab that money. Even if there's something to just slow it down, then it makes us stop and think about, do I actually want to do that? Do I want to jeopardize this long-term piece that I've been working at for this short-term need? I think it's a need.
Yeah.
And it might allow you to kind of start to think of like, well, how else could I get this that I think I want to steal from here for? Right.
Yeah, I remember one time you said to me, find 50 ways to have money come into your life without working for it, I believe is how you put it.
Yes.
And it was amazing because people, this was on Facebook, and people were saying, well, do this and do that, and this could happen, and it was incredible.
It starts to open up your mind of like other creative things that you can think of, and when we start opening up that possibility, then all of a sudden you don't feel quite as stuck. It's like, oh, I have lots of options.
Right. And what I love about that is, as an entrepreneur, you have to be creative regardless in so many ways to market your business and expand your business, and so allowing that creativity to be tapped in every area just adds to the fun of it all, because all of a sudden it's not you know, as you say, sitting there going, oh please, I need another client this week, or digging for the tax money when it comes due. Is you've been playing at this all along. And that's one of the things I love about what you do is the play aspect, because I use your expand all the time, be the wind, and I also like the questions that you ask with your clients around what would it be like if, and wouldn't it be fun if?
Yeah,
and
because that opens the creativity.
Exactly.
Right? As kids, we wonder, we don't know. We're like, well, I wonder what happens when I do that, and then you go, you try it, but you know, we start to lose some of that as an adult. So if we go back to I wonder, and you know, I'm feeling like I need to come back to the book of it's like, I wonder what would happen if I implemented this.
Yeah.
And to play with it and to start to make money fun again, then it changes your whole interaction with it. And what if every time you paid a bill, it felt fun?
Yeah, because you feel powerful, and being powerful in interesting ways is always fun.
Yes.
Let me see the book for a second.
Absolutely.
I want to try my usual thing where I do
random page.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. Ooh. Well, where I started was take action, get ready for a great year. Step 1, start a celebration list. Come up with ideas for how to spend your quarterly owner's distribution. Include small treats and big indulgences. Post the list where you can see it for inspiration and motivation. And as a reminder, when the quarter comes around and you convince yourself there are more practical uses for the money. If one of those treats is a trip to meet up with me at an event, talking about him, and tell me your profit first success story, that would be pretty cool. But if it's flying me down to see you so we can go kite surfing together, that would be really, really cool. So I like this guy already because
he's very fun.
He's
really
fun, and he talks about, as he says, practical ways to. I love that. You know, how to spend your quarterly owner's distribution, small treats and big indulgences.
Yeah, and I'll just point out about that. So the quarterly distributions is that money that you're putting aside for the profit first, and once a quarter you take 90% of it and you spend it. And on a mindset piece, when you take that piece and you spend it on something that's frivolous, so to speak, something that's fun, it feels rewarding, then you shift that perspective. It doesn't go back into paying a bill or a debt, or, you know, you can actually feel the rewards of being self-employed.
Yeah, I really like that. I think, as you know, I don't always read through the books when I get them. I glance and take a peek. But I think this one, I actually need to sit down and read.
I highly recommend it. I think it is a good read. He's a great author. It's a fabulous system. It works. What more can I say?
Yeah, and if it works,
yeah,
do it.
I can promise it would change a lot of people's businesses. Just that one simple little thing. Even if you stayed at 1%, putting it aside, it would start to shift your perspective on how you see your business. And now you can no longer say that you're a broke ass.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You can actually say legitimately that you are profitable. How much of a mind shift is that?
That is very cool, because I remember the first time I realized, when we moved into our new house, there were a number of deposits that I had to put down, and things were kind of scary for the first couple of months because we also got the pups, and you know, so we were imagining eating craft dinner for a month or two. We didn't, but you know, the fear is there. And I started to think about all the deposits I'd put down, and I thought, well, it's just like being in a, you know, a GIC or whatever. You know, that money is there. I'm not broke. I can't have it right now, but that's okay.
Right.
It's there. And it really made me feel less panicky about getting through that first setup period. So it's really cool. Now I see that he is the author of The Pumpkin Plan and The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur. Have you read those?
I haven't read those two, not yet. I'm reading his latest one, which is called Clockwork. And it's about the systematization of your business and getting it to run on autopilot, you taking yourself out of the equation so that you have free time.
Yeah.
Which is always the ultimate goal of the entrepreneur, but rarely is it realized.
Yeah.
So again, he's got a very practical system for putting that in place, which I really like.
I would find that hard, since as a minister performing marriages and celebrations of life, I have to be there. So how would I, and with my energy work, I have to be there. How would I?
There's always a way. See, this is the thing. I wonder how it's possible. And it doesn't have to be that way. But if your goal is to be able to, you know, take yourself out of the business, then it's a matter of he's got a whole system for identifying the key things that you need to be doing in your business, the key focus, and then how to systematize it so that somebody else is doing the work. So the question is, instead of how do I do this, who do I get to do this?
Oh, I like that.
I like that, yeah. So he's getting 2 reviews in one on the show.
Yeah, there you go. Mike, are you listening? We'll have to tag him in on this so that he sees.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because he did very nicely send you the books,
yes,
which is a wonderful idea, because it means that we can share them even further. And as you know, I had one at my my open house for the Healing Parlor, and one of the people there won it and loves it. So, and I have another one to give away.
Yes, we do.
So,
what did you have in mind?
Well, what I was going to say is the first person to contact me and tell me the name of the author gets a free book.
Brilliant idea.
So you can contact me, my phone number, my website, my email address is usually somewhere on the show, running across the bottom. And yeah, the first person to call me and tell me, Profit First, Mike McAllowitz, you tell me his name, and you get the book.
You might want to stipulate it has to be spelled right.
Oh, okay,
Just
yeah.
to, take the level up a little bit, make them work a little bit for it.
All right, you got to spell it right, and you know what else we're going to make them do?
What?
Let me just see here. When was the book published? 2017? 2014.
That would make more sense.
2014. Okay, and he has 3 other books, 2 of which I've mentioned in the show. So now you have to contact me, tell me what his name is, when this book was published, and what other 2 books that I mentioned. And that way I'll know you're watching the show. Well, now we got them pinned down. Yeah, no monkeying around. So, speaking of monkeying around.
Yes.
Tell me about you.
So, well,
Yeah.
speaking of books and about me.
I love this book.
Thank you.
Love it. It is so good. So,
Yes.
tell my 10 watchers what we're doing.
For the 2 people watching the show. So this is the first of the series. It's called The Inner Dominatrix Guide is the series. And this one is Become a Badass in Business.
Ah.
And so for me is the mindset for business is what comes first. When you don't have the mindset that you want to go for it, that you're wanting to play the bigger game, you're never going to take the bigger action. You're never going to take those leaps that are kind of scary and, cause your heart to just palpate a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And so that's the piece about the mindset. Now, the different tweak, of course, is because I call it the Inner Dominatrix Guide. I'm pulling from my time as a dominatrix and using that analogy to help people to really step into the mindset in their business, to bring that energy of power. It's an archetype, so I'm not telling people they have to go to the dungeon, although for some that would be fun, I know, right? But it is about stepping into that archetype of I'm confident in who I am. I'm, willing to stand up and say, you know what, this is what I do and I'm really good at it and I know I can help you. And having that confidence, not cocky, but confident, that quiet presence that just people are like, I want to know who that is. What are you doing? What are you about? And the willingness to say no when you need to say no, turn away clients when you need to, but trusting that you can actually do it and put it in place. So that's kind of the overview of the archetype for me. And I think she's such a powerful archetype for anyone in business, but even more so for women. I think women really need this.
I totally agree with you, because even though I've only taken snippets of time working with you, it has made amazing changes, not only in my personal life, but in the way I treat my business. And it's just so wonderful because I do feel more powerful and more confident about my skills and about what I bring to the table. And I know now what I can do for people. And
it's that. Because that was not present when I first met you. You have blossomed. It's been beautiful.
Thank you. Well, I feel the same way about you because I've watched you go from bringing this out and then just getting on that plane and flying, like plane, forget it, rocket. Because
thank you.
From the first time I saw you speak to the last time, and I'm coming to your next one, I was just amazed at how much more confident and in your body and in the whole feel of it you were. It was really, really cool to watch that. So here we are, we have our own little self-fan club. This is great. But I really do love your work, and people, I hope, will get over any hesitation around inner dominatrix, because that truly is, I love the way you describe it. It's not about sex. It's about, well, please, it's about control. You tell me some more about it.
It's not about the sex. It's about who you are as an individual. and coming to a place where you're really comfortable with who you are, and this is what you've embraced, right? This piece of, I'm going to do what I feel drawn and compelled to do, and I'm going to allow other people to judge me. And I think this is one of the biggest gifts that the dominatrix holds, is that she welcomes judgment. Like, you cannot step into that role and not be judged severely. So you've got to get comfortable with, like, this is what happens. And in business, we're judged. In life, we're judged. We're always judged. We can't stop it. But learning to shift that around so that we can use it, embrace it. And I like using it for fuel. I take it up.
You want to judge me? Right on.
Bring it on.
Watch me go.
Bring it on, because that's the fuel for my rocket.
Yeah.
I
love it.
It's an ease of being who you are.
Well, the funny thing is, for me, because what I do, working directly with Spirit, I would never have said that before. I would never have said, oh yeah, Spirit comes through me, or yeah, I talk to Spirit, and I have no problem when I show this tattoo that says step forward. Oh yeah, God told me that 25 years ago. And there was a time when there's no way I would have said any of that. People would have judged, they would have thought I was a lunatic, but I know it's true. I know what I feel. I know the gift that I've been given to help others.
Yeah.
And I am just rocking it.
And when you do that, then you owning your gifts and embracing it, people resonate with that, and they're like, they're drawn to work with you because they love that. Like, we all love hanging around with people who are passionate about what they do. And so when we hold back and we're like, oh, I'm gonna be timid, like, it took me a while to embrace this. It really did. It was like, oh, I'm gonna come out with this, like, oof. But the more I step into it, I really lean into it, more people are saying, oh, I love that you're doing that. That is so brave, that is so bold, it's so larger than life, and they want to be around me. And that's the same thing that I see is happening with you. You're embracing who you are, and the people who love that are going, oh, yes, let me hang out with you.
Yeah, it's really terrific. Speaking of hanging out, where's your next speaking engagement that I just saw on Facebook? There's 4 of you coming up.
Oh, yes. So next Thursday, isn't this bad? I forget that Women Rock Your Business or Women Launch Your Business. So that is at the Ferndale Banquet Hall.
Oh, is it Ferndale? Isn't that funny? I thought it was Lionsgate. Is it the one on Blake Street?
Lionsgate I'm going to be doing later. That's what you're thinking of.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I was like, what, the one that I'm doing? No, so that'll be February 21st. Lionsgate will be one that I put on. But this one, Catherine is putting on.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, and my brain just went completely blank on her name. I am so sorry.
I know. You know what? It happens to me all the time.
Macintosh. That's it.
I call it living in the now.
Yes. That's it. That's what I say to people. I've done so much consciousness work that now the brain doesn't necessarily compute the same way it used to.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah. I just don't retain the things that you may need to know. I'm in here remembering me.
That's right. That's right. It has nothing to do with my age. Absolutely nothing. I'm still 25.
Cool. So let me see your book. Here we have The Inner Dominatrix Guide, Become a Badass in Business by Dana Pharant, and let me tell you, it is terrific. And Dana was here, or is here with me today. We've been discussing Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, and this is about transforming your business from a cash-eating monster to a money-making machine. Dana, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come and be here again. And we'll have to figure out a way to get you back on again.
Absolutely.
Season 3.
Always a pleasure.
Great. And thank you for watching Epiphanies. I'm Rev.Jessie Brandon, and I'm so happy you joined us today. We'll see you next time. Bye now.